The Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and The World Ends With You inspired action RPG Reynatis from young director Takumi Isobe has been out for the past few days in Japan. And I finished the game up. I've been incredibly curious about this. This obviously caught the attention of Kingdom Hearts fans when it was revealed earlier this year, although I have remained skeptical about Reynatis. This is coming from TWEWY, who always focus on low-budget AA games. AA isn't a bad thing by any means. Some of my favorite video games are AA entries. However, because it's TWEWY, this is a company that isn't exactly renowned for creating the best video games. I will say this though, Reynatis has surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy this game as much as I did. This has got to be the most PlayStation 2 feeling ass video game that I have played in a hot minute. That isn't a PS2 game. And that is a fantastic thing. I love it for that. Now, the game is only out in Japan, so that means that I have been playing the Japanese version. In this review, I'm not going to be able to comment on the narrative because I have no idea what is going on, what is being said. I don't even know why I'm fighting all of these weird creatures and pulling off Harry Potter spells. What I can tell you about the story is this is a world where wizards and witches exist. This is anime Harry Potter. Some people are born with magic powers, some people aren't. However, because most people aren't born with magic capabilities, it is illegal to use magic unless you're
the police.
The game's actually got a really cool mechanic that revolves around this. For when you expose your wizard form in public, people start freaking out. Oh my god, what the f is that? Is that f***ing Voldemort? Nah, dog, that's Sirius Black. Holy sh**. Yo, what is that? Someone called a Popo! That's a magician! I bet he's got a rabbit stuffed down his pants. What the f*** is happening? It's one of those disgusting magic users.
Target card for a parking crossing.
The game focuses between two main characters. You've got young 19-year-old Marin, who is a magic user who is oppressed and seeks freedom from the judgment of society towards magic users. Then you've got Sare, who is part of the MEA, the Magical Enforcement Association. The story revolves around these two and how their stories eventually come together. Let's talk about what you guys are probably most interested in first though, and that is the combat system. This is a fast-paced action RPG, faster than something like Kingdom Hearts. At times it can almost feel like a hack and slash. There's multiple playable characters in the game with a total party size of 3. Eventually, you'll be able to mix and match all of the playable characters into the party setup that you want, with a total of 6 playable characters. Each character has their own unique fighting style. We got sword user, big ass stick, punchy, pew shooty, and a whip chain thing. This is just a chain. Cool. You can switch between characters in real time while in combat, and even use their intro skills whenever they're called in, so long as their heads-up display is glowing. This reminded me a lot of how Scarlet Nexus works with the whole combo system, and then switching into a character and continuing a combo with the unique cool intro ability. And in the same way, it works great here. The core system of how combat works is MP. So every character's got 2 modes. You've got Suppressed and Wizard. Wizard is how you attack and use your special abilities. Suppressed is your defensive function here, allowing you to dodge, slow down time, and regain MP. Whenever you're in wizard mode, the bar down the bottom will decrease. This is your MP, and using abilities will use a large amount of the MP resource. However, when you're in suppress mode, the MP gauge will slowly replenish. The bonus here though is to avoid attacks and dodge is a lot easier in suppress mode as time literally slows down, and every single time you pull off a successful dodge, you'll gain a large amount of MP back while suppressed. Suppress mode will also allow you to counterattack. If you're about to be hit, time will completely come to a stop and a big ring will appear. If you hold down the dodge button and fill the ring up, your character will perform a counterattack dodge ability. If you fill your MP up to max while suppressed, the bar will start glowing and you can activate a special attack that changes you into wizard form and slows down time. Kind of think Witch Time from Bayonetta if you were to perfect dodge. So the game is sort of about managing your MP, switching between suppressed and wizard form, dodging to build your MP back up, to then switch back into wizard form to then perform attacks. Each character has their own individual amount of MP, which can be displayed on the heads-up display. So if one character's low on MP and you don't feel like building it back up via avoiding attacks in suppress form, you can simply just switch to another character and use their MP. It's actually quite a unique combat system, one that stands out in the sea of action RPGs that are out there. It took me a little while to actually get the hang of the dodge system because you'll be using it a lot. Again, this is part of the core system of how the combat system actually works. The special attacks come in the form of graffiti tags, which you can find scattered throughout the city of Shibuya as you explore. However, you can't actually claim the graffiti tag until your, I think it's a wizard sync rate, is at a certain percent. As you do side quests throughout the game, this meter will drop in percentage, and the graffiti tags require that percentage to be at a certain point in order to claim. So yeah, the side quest system is directly tied into how you get new attacks. Each character can be equipped with 2 active skills and 5 different passive skills. This is the gear of the game, by the way. You don't equip different weapons, accessories, armor pieces, or anything like that. This is how you apply additional benefits to your characters. There is, of course, a general leveling system that goes up to a max of 99. So there isn't really a whole lot towards actually building your character here in this game, other than what you see here with the graffiti tags of the 2 actives and 5 passives. You can unlock more passive slots too by visiting these cats, thanks kitty, which giving these guys certain materials will in return unlock more passive slots for your characters. I actually really like the graffiti tag system though. It reminds me a lot of the designs of the ability pins from The World Ends With You. I think that's where the inspiration behind the ability system here in Reynatis comes from. Each character has an ultimate attack, so as you're dealing damage and pulling off cool tricks, this little gauge here will fill up, and eventually you'll be able to press L3 to perform a cool move. And yeah, we know where the inspiration behind Myron's special attack came from. This is literally just Final Fantasy Versus 13 Noctis Armiger Royal Arms special earthreal weapon attack. Okay. But yeah, I had fun with the combat system. I think it's just okay, and it is fun, which is the main point. Don't go into this expecting some kind of in-depth Kingdom Hearts-esque setup or Devil May Cry setup. There's not really a whole lot of depth here. You do have like ability cancelling and combo cancelling, which is kind of nice. The dodging feels really, really good, especially the suppressed dodge mechanic. There is a little bit of jankiness here, like the animations of enemy attacks can sometimes just look really strange and weird, and also the boss fights aren't really that great. Like, I only struggled on one boss fight where I died once, otherwise they're all fairly easy. Just quickly talking about like the enemies as well, I feel like they are very uninspired. You got like Lizard Man, you got Umbrella Thing, you've got a Bullet Bill. Is that a Bullet Bill? The other janky thing I want to talk about is the camera, because oh my god, this is probably the game's biggest issue here. The camera, when you're in a confined space, will have a square up with any wall that is in the general area and shake like its life depends on it. So yeah, expect camera problems because they are definitely prevalent here when you're fighting in closed areas, which you will be a lot of the time. My other issue here with the game is the level design. So the main explorable area in Reynatis is Tokyo Shibuya. You've got all of the very famous landmarks of Shibuya here in Reynatis. You've seen this a million times in a billion other Japanese video games. The city is split up into different areas with loading screens. That's all fine, and I think the rendition of Shibuya here is really cool, especially because Takumi Isobe wanted to have a very realistic representation of Shibuya, down to the point of having the actual stores that appear in real life Shibuya appearing here in Reynatis. The amount of brand deals here in this game is ridiculous. We've got Adidas, we've got Burger King. Oh, would you look at that? We've got Mountain Dew in the vending machines. Wait a minute, is that Boss Coffee? Moss Burger? Along with a whole slate of recognizable Japanese brands in commercial stores. I don't know how they pulled this off because it's at Yakuza levels of like product placement and promotional pushing, but my god, there's a lot of recognizable stuff here. However, it is the fantasy areas that you get to explore, like the wizard world. There's these fog gates that are located all around the city that will send you into a fantasy world. And oh my god, these levels are just terrible. Like, honestly terrible. There is nothing to them. It is the same copy and pasted forest segment for almost all of these worlds that you go to, just with a different skybox. At one point, you're walking through a factory, which was nice to change it up, but it's just a bland factory. Then you've also got this desert area here, but it's a desert area, man. Like, this is the easiest thing to pull off. Most of these levels, though, are the forest, and the forest really is no joke, a copy and paste of like the exact same layout. There's also no exploration really as well. There are a few paths that you can go down to find an item, but like you're not coming across really anything interesting. These items that you pick up in the world space are generally just like a potion or maybe a material. Exploration is essentially non-existent, and going through the same forest area 100,000 times kind of gets a little bit old after a while. So I think that's kind of a testament to how much I enjoyed this okay combat system, because the only thing that was keeping me there playing Reynatis, because the level design is just actually not interesting at all, and that I didn't know what the was going on in the story, it means that I was actually getting a pretty good kick out of the combat system that's here in Reynatis. In terms of additional content here outside the main scenario, you've got these hard challenge gates, which will send you into the same godforsaken forest! You'll face high-level enemies in these, as well as conditions in order to complete the challenge, like completing the level in a certain amount of time, or don't use any recovery items, or your ultimate attack. And then there's the side quests. I did all of these so that I could get my sync meter down to the lowest possible to get all of the graffiti tags. The people of Shibuya will put up a Craigslist listing on the Craigslist Witch app, and here you can offer your help to help them with whatever they need. I don't know exactly what we're doing for these people, so I can't exactly comment on the story portions of the side quests, but yeah, most of these aren't really interesting. Someone's probably like, there's a wizard guy that's causing havoc, go smack him up, and so we go smack him up, and then it's like quest complete. Some will also have you going back into the goddamn forest level! Most of these are just like, hey, I need you to go kill something. Can you do that? The main scenario is divided up into chapters. There's 33 in total. It took me 13 hours to finish the game, though this runtime would be a little bit longer, as I was, for the most part, skipping cutscenes and dialogue. I should also quickly comment on the game's music, because this game was composed by none other than Yoko Shimomura, the composer of the Kingdom Hearts series. And the music here is good, though I would say very far from Yoko's best work. Like, there's a few very reminiscent Versus 13 sounding tracks here in this game, which harkens on the Versus 13 inspiration a little bit, but we've definitely heard better from Yoko. Still, the music here is good. Now, the reason why I call this a PS2 feeling ass game is because, for one, it looked sort of like a PlayStation 2 game. Visually speaking, it's not the best looking game ever. It is developed on the Unity engine, but also just the way the game feels, the very PS2 feeling looking locations as well, like the forest. Yeah, that's a PlayStation 2 RPG forest. This is certainly not a bad thing. I was born and bred on the PlayStation 2, so if I can get more PS2 feeling ass games in my current day and age, then that's an absolute win. But as I was playing this game, it made me think, wow, I feel like I'm playing something from a completely different time era, which provides a lot of charm to Reynatis. Like, at first you think, okay, yeah, this looks like a dated game, it kind of feels a little bit dated, but then you start thinking, wow, okay, this is creating some kind of unique charm, and I'm really enjoying this. Like, I feel like if you enjoy PlayStation 2 RPGs, you're really going to enjoy Reynatis in a really special, strange way. However, I have to say, I actually had a lot of fun with this. This is actually a fun title. Yeah, there are certainly some big weak points here in Reynatis, but I think as a first big attempt from Takumi Asobe, who doesn't have overly too much experience here in the video games world, I think this is at least good enough. The game also ends in a manner that could provide potentially a sequel in the future, and I would absolutely love to see a follow-up to this game with a higher budget. Furyu and Natsumi Atare have taken a chance on Takumi Asobe, and I think Reynatis will definitely be one of the better titles that comes out of Furyu. My recommendation here for when this game releases worldwide in September and October would be to maybe just hold off until the game drops in price. There's without a doubt some fun to be had here, but I can't recommend this as a full-priced title. Now lastly, if you guys want to check out the official The World Ends With You content that is in this game, I did a video going over all of that, where Square Enix actually helped out Takumi Asobe put that together to be put into Reynatis. It's an interesting piece of content, so I'll leave the video link to that in the description down below. However guys, that is my thoughts on Reynatis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything that's going on here. Check out my other garbage social media platforms. A big thank you to my turkey-tastic patrons. I hope each and every one of you are having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.